So you can have these kind of low end sounds, but they all work with each other, all using Pro MB. You can also do this with Pro Q. And you could also do it with the multi-band compressor in Ableton, but with Pro MB it's a lot easier. So yeah, I want to show you this because I've been doing this a lot in a lot of my tracks, and it's really opened up a few doors for sounds that I can combine together without them clashing. So I'll show you this little track, a little part of the track, and then I'll go through some of the sounds, and you'll see how they've kind of blended together with this trick. We'll go from say here. All right. Cool. So yeah, in this track, I've got quite a lot of things that are living in a similar area. So I have this group here, which is this low end group, which is just the kick and the sub. So it's quite simple, straightforward, just a breakbeat style kick, quite heavy and punchy. And then I'm just side chaining it with this duck here, which is just it's just a side chain tool from Devious Mind. It's quite good, very heavy, and so yeah, I'm using that. But this isn't anything you've not seen before, right? You're just side chaining a bass out the way of the kick. One thing I have done on the group, which might interest you guys, is I've got a little glue compressor, which is compressing the kick and the bass. So those peaks of the kick are being knocked down a little bit, and then I'm bringing up the volume of the group of the kick and the bass. So then together they're going to be a little bit fuller and a little bit louder. And then I'm doing some gentle limiting on the group as well, and that's just to make sure that the volume doesn't jump over at any point. So it's not doing anything too heavy or killing any of the dynamics. But yeah, that's all I've done there on the low end group, which is the subby kicky end. But the interesting stuff is in this main synth. Let's just it's a very heavy, dirty sound, and it's made with this Prophet 5 from Arturia. If you're interested, I'm not going to do a tutorial on how it's made right now, but I just want to show you how I've balanced the low end in there. So standard thing I've done. This is the processing here is just to make it sound beefy and fat, so it's not really what you need to see. But the processing stuff to try and get it to blend and mix is I've got the sidechain to the kick, standard stuff. It is kind of heavy because I wanted it to move quite heavily out of the way, but it is also the MIDI is kind of dancing around the kick, and that helps a lot with the mixing. If you program your MIDI in, it can yeah, save you a lot of time in the mix down process because you're already moving the notes out of the way. And then this is where the Pro MB comes in and does a little magic. So if you've never used Pro MB before, I'm going to set this up so you can actually see, but we'll just look at it now and see what it's doing. And what this is doing is moving the low frequencies out the way of the bass. I think I'm also compressing it a little bit here as well. Yeah, but this is the area here where it's moving specifically in one area out of the way, so it's not moving the whole signal, which is what a sidechain would do. It's just moving one area, a bit like Track Spacer if you've used that, but that's what it's doing, and I'm going to show you how you set that up. So if we just have a listen to the kick and bass and low end. So that bass, the sub bass, is allowing to come through completely, and the sub bass itself is a very clean signal. It's just a sine wave from Serum. Just oh, it's got a sawtooth. I lied, but it's not very harmonically rich. You can see it's just one harmonic, a little bit here, and that allows for the other sound to have some low end content in there. So we have this big sine wave sub bass here, and then that's pushing out the way of it's pushing this main sound out the way every time it comes through. So they're dancing around each other nicely, and I'm not getting any problems with the signals clashing. And then we have other sounds that are living in a similar area as well. I have this sound here. So that's this one here. Now this sounds quite thin in a way. It sounds like it doesn't have much low end content, but that's because I've mixed it out of the way. I've done this Pro MB here to the chords, so not to the bass, to the chords, and I'm ducking a lot of the low frequencies. Right? You start hearing a little bit of that. Warmer frequencies, but we don't need that because we have this main chord doing that, so we don't need to have the low frequencies there, but we do want the high frequencies because that's where that nice kind of distortion that I've done, it comes through. So yeah, that's what I've done there, and I've also then did it again with the sub. So I've basically just copied that same sidechain here, or Pro MB sidechain, and so they're both moving. The sound is moving out of the way for the sub and for the chords. So I'm prioritizing the sub and the chords over this, and this is something you should do consciously. Like, all right, this is my main sound, this is not my main sound, I need to move them out of the way, but I still want the character of that sound there. So that's how you can use Pro MB to do that, and so on and so forth. So with all the other sounds, I'm doing a similar thing. This one here, this is like this aggressive kind of pluck thing. So that's adding a bit more of the transient, and I only wanted really the kind of top end of that. So again, I'm just moving a lot of the low frequencies out of the way of this. Same with EQ here. Otherwise I'm getting a lot of mud in this area here, right? And we don't want that. We don't want a big build up of sound in that area. It needs to be nice and clean. So again, it's a conscious effort or conscious thought. Okay, I want this to be the main sound. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you set this up. So say if fact, I've left this one here so we can do it on this one. So if we just take a Pro MB, and I'll show you how to do it on the Ableton stock one as well, but it is a little bit more, a little bit less easy to do. So I've got Pro MB. This is on this sound here, which is just this top line that I'm exaggerating. Very aggressive, heavy sound. Okay, so we have Pro MB. We've set the sidechain to the main chords. We now click somewhere, so we want really the low end to move out the way. Let's just solo them together. Okay, so what's currently happening, it looks like it's sidechaining for it, but what's currently happening is it's sidechaining for the original sound. It's not sidechaining for the main chords. If I stop soloing this, you can see it's ducking the low frequencies when they come from this original sound. So we want it to move out the way for the chords. So the chords, it can be, you know, they have their own space. So we put this here, we go into expert mode, we go on external. So there's an external signal coming into Pro MB, and that's going to move the sidechain. It's going to look similar because they're on the same rhythm. But now it's moving out of the way of it, and we might want the range to be a bit bigger. So it means that, let's say, if the volume level is where my mouse is now, that's when the threshold will start kicking in. And if you want the threshold to be a bit heavier, we go here. And so let's listen to it with the sound. I want some of these frequencies here. I like the mid frequencies, but not this low frequencies here, because it's just going to get a bit messy. The other thing we want to do is maybe make the attack and release quite quick. We want it to respond very quickly, not take any time until it sidechains out the way. You can put look ahead on, so it kind of looks ahead before the signal comes in. You don't need to have this too high, but a little bit, and you can have the ratio a bit higher as well. So that means the amount of gain reduction that will happen whenever the compressor is hit. but they're moving out the way of each other. It's a subtle little thing that you'll do, but if you don't do these kind of things, you get build-ups in these frequencies, and then on your, say if you're looking on your master and you got span on, you'll have like a bit of a boost here, which you don't really want. It'll make the track sound a bit muddy, and that's where you got to go in and try and tidy things up. So this is a really cool little tip on how you can do that. I'll show you how you would do it with a multi-band compressor. Okay, so we turn this one off, and the way you do it on this one, similar again, sidechain, find the thing you want to sidechain. The thing with this is you can't see the frequencies. With Pro MB you can see the frequencies, so it's a little bit better. So what we want to do here is we want the low frequencies to be moved out the way, and what range do we want? I would say around 120 is good, so everything below 120 will move out the way. We can check on here. This is around 300, so we can go a bit higher. Like here. Now, this isn't currently doing anything, but if you just drag and go to the red, if you go to the blue, it will expand, and we want it to compress, not expand. Expanding will basically increase the volume whenever it hits that threshold, and we want it to decrease the volume. So now it's decreasing, and if you bring this all the way down, so there's like this very harsh line, then it will be a heavier ratio. You hear that? So if you hopefully got headphones on or good speakers, you'll hear that there's more low end. There we go. So we've not completely killed the low end, but just a little bit, and that's how you would set it up with the multiband dynamics. To be fair, that was quicker than doing it here, but it's less visual, so you can't really see. But you have to use your ears. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's just see what it all sounds like. It's going to be a very small thing because I've already done all the changes on all the other sounds, but let's have a listen now in context of everything. So we'll leave it with this one that we've just done now. We'll leave it on the Ableton stock one, and let's have a play. But my memory is not there. Yeah, so you can hear there that the low end feels nice and clear. You can see on span that there wasn't a huge build up in that area. It's still like quite a low end heavy track, so it's quite fat and warm and deep, but that's all intentional. But as long as it's not muddy and it's not overpowering in that area, you've got a nice clean mix. So yeah, I hope this was helpful for you guys. If it was, let me know in the comments, leave a like, subscribe. Also, if you want any one-on-one tutoring, there's a link to my website where you can book one-on-one tutoring, or you can sign up to the top tier on Patreon, where I do one-on-one sessions with people once a month. Cool. Thank you very much, guys. I'll catch you in the next video.